Have you ever wondered what it takes to unlock the secrets of the Order of the Arrow? Hey, ScouterStan, let's discover a little bit about more of the secrets of the Order of the Arrow. The reason I do that, and I do the secrets, there isn't. There are traditions in the Order of the Arrow we just don't really talk about because it's a spoiler. We don't want to tell you the end of the movie. So, I want you to see the movie, okay? So there's the big thing. A lot of people say, ooh, secret order. No, it's not. Adults and parents, same thing. They can ask any question and we will answer it completely. And one of the things about adult leaders and parents, if they really are concerned, they can witness some of this stuff. They can go to the ordeal and actually see the ceremonies and stuff. There's no secrets. That's a myth. Okay? And before we go any further, to observe and preserve the traditions of the Order of the Arrow, I'm currently out of uniform. So let's go. There we go. The first year emphasis patrol in a troop is so important to get them oriented to what's going on within the troop. The same is true with the Order of the Arrow. Ordeal members are brand new to this process. And what's neat about it is there's an award. Now, it's not in every single lodge, so you have to check into it. But if it is, it should be similar to what the rubric that I'm going to go through. Okay, so that's one of those things that a lot of new arrowmen that are getting into the Order of the Arrow through Ordeal, they will get their first year thing. Now, right here we have a viewer on our channel who's actually asking that question because they just got it. They just achieved this award with their lodge. Now, like I said, the first year emphasis patrol in a troop is so critical. The same thing is true with the Ordeal. Their first year of actually learning about the order, learning about their lodge, learning those things, that is critical to being an active member with the lodge, with the chapter. That is so very important. So if you don't have this in your area, I highly recommend making sure that your chapter starts talking about it with the lodge. This is youth-led. Okay, so the youth need to really bring that up and really bring it together and figure out what kind of reward. A lot of times it's a one-time patch. Okay, they can't get it. That's their award, and that's it. You don't sew it on the uniform. You keep it in a box and keep it special. Okay, that is the one thing. It could be a flap with a special logo that has the words First Year Arrowmen Award. Should be on there. Something of that effect. You could come up with all kinds of different awards. You can even come up with different names for them. So that is one of those things that emphasizes all of the principles within the Order of the Arrow so that arrowman can go from their ordeal on up to brotherhood. So that's sealing their membership, going through that membership process. This is a great award, great way to recognize that and to emphasize that so that more scouts can actually go through their ordeal and not just disappear. Okay, that does happen. Now, that reason for that happening could be many things. It could be they aged out, they moved on, they left scouting. It could be anything. But the ordeal is not the only thing that the Order of the Arrow is about. And that's huge. We need to make sure that that ordeal member knows that and they move forward. So very important. Now, the requirements can be optional and they can be different depending on where you're going. I'm going to put these out as an optional rubric for the rules of how to do this process of having this award. Do all three of the following. Attend at least one function of the lodge within the year after obtaining your ordeal. Go for the brotherhood training at the earliest opportunity, and continue to participate in your troop or crew. Hey, before we go any further, I want to make sure that you are invited to come to the live meeting. The live meeting is on the first Sunday of each month at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So please join us. Now, you're going to have to adjust for whatever time zone you're in. But please join us and join in. That's a great way to ask questions, and I'm there to answer them. Also, I want to personally thank all of the patrons on Patreon for their continued financial support. Also, if you would like to become a channel member right here on YouTube, hit the join button and go through that process. It's a great way to help fund what you see here. If you don't want to do a monthly donation, that's fine. We have a thank you button. Just hit the thank you button and make a one-time donation. That is always appreciated. And let's get right back to it. Now, to wrap it kind of up, there has to be one part where they can pick out three of the following. This is something that every new arrowman should do, and they might have already done a lot of these requirements. So keep this in mind. Now, here's 7 suggestions. The first one, of course, is join a committee. It could be a committee with the lodge. It could be a committee with the chapter. So a committee. It could be anything, okay? But that could be one of 3 that could actually be done. Attend chapter meetings, at least 2. That's the next one. Attend 2 lodge meetings. Now, these are for the lodge. All the chapters get together for those. This is done on an annual basis, so they need to go to those. Take part in a day of service. A lot of chapters, a lot of lodges will have a day of service, and it's usually to help the community. It could be a lot of different things. Some even kind of work with scouting for food. So that's more on the warehouse level, so it's a little different. But this service is so important. Take part in a unit election. We need help. Every chapter has unit elections, and they have to meet up with the unit in person so that they can actually go through that election process. Take part in a camp promotion for your local camp. That is super important. Be an Elangomat. Now, Elangomats there's a whole video on that, right? So definitely check that out. Elangomat is helping tremendously, being the example in the ordeal. So very important. Now, a little more about that Elangomat. You can definitely check out the video. That is super important to check out that video about Elangomat. And it means friend. And that's one of those neat things that goes on in the Order of the Arrow, where there's a little bit of more service within the ordeal. I remember, there was someone in my group wearing a sash. And I was thinking, that's weird. Why are they? They're not joining again, are they? No, they were there to be the example. That was the coolest thing about it. We didn't know. You didn't know. So that's the Elangomat. It's one of those really cool opportunities. When you're in the ordeal, you see that going on. That is super cool. So definitely try to do 3 of the 7 things at the end. Now, all of these can change. You can make these more specific to your area. So this isn't a nationally dictated program, okay? Not yet. But this is something you can start. And this is just to give you a rubric of some kind of structure that you can build even better requirements. Don't make it impossible. Make it achievable. That's the thing about when you start constructing these things, and that is very important. Having this award will really turn a lot of chapters and a lot of lodges around. It helps them build better brothers in the order, and I believe that having this award out there officially would be wonderful. But till then, you can come up with something incredible, okay? Even in your own chapter, you could do this. You could definitely do something like that. Introduce it the next Ordeal. Try to get this thing going. Try to get it rolling. Patches are a wonderful thing when you're dealing with the Order of the Arrow. So definitely look into that. Scouting is a wonderful thing, and the Order of the Arrow is there to kind of reinforce to the older scouts all of the great stuff that's going on. And what's interesting, it's available for all the scouts. That's the wonderful thing. Some Cub Scouts, they're getting there. But it's available for all of them. And that's the neat thing about the Order of the Arrow. It is a wonderful brotherhood of cheerful service. And that's the neat thing. And if you follow all of the requirements and put that together, that's really the secret. It really is. Because all those things will get you more involved and get you keep going and going and going. And then, you're going to learn leadership. You're going to learn all these great things. So that's kind of what it's the big secret. There isn't a secret. You got to just do it. And that's the neat thing about it. And I'm so grateful for all that you do in scouting and all the hard work you do out there. Please keep it up. We need you. Okay, we really do. We need you to keep doing what you're doing in scouting. So important, so very important. We have a lot of youth that watch these. Keep up the good work. Be a good leader, okay? They're learning, okay? And they see these videos too. It's a labor of love and a wonderful thing. And I really enjoy it. It's so much fun. But we are going to move on, and I'll tell you what, if you want to see something really cool, we've got one on rejoining over there. That's really cool, joining back into the Order of the Arrow. Until next time, I'll see you on the trail.